Jim the Game Guru. Okay, today's video, Lords of Scotland. It is a card game where you're trying to claim the throne of Scotland. And it involves kind of skirmishes, but they're not heavy skirmishes. It's not like a battle game with like Magic the Gathering or Keyforge or anything like that. The skirmishes are actually pretty light. They're about, suits of cards and values of cards and trying to gain supporters. The person with the most supporter value at the end of the game wins the game. This is a game that I had on my list for the longest time, and eventually, I don't know what happened, it was no longer available on Amazon, and the price ended up skyrocketing like crazy. Out of the blue, I went to the board game store near me, and this particular store near me actually sells used games, and they actually sell the games in pretty good condition. Like, this one is almost brand spanking new. Great game. It's a game where with two players, it's a little easier to control the battles. I think people that are a little bit more comfortable with card games could actually have a little bit more of an advantage over somebody else who's more of a casual player on a two-player game. In a 3, 4, 5-player game, this could get kind of chaotic, which is cool. So let's go ahead, dig into it. If you're new here, please consider subscribing or following. Alright, so I have everything laid out here on the table for the Lords of Scotland. And what we have is we have a draw pile. We have 5 recruits here in the middle. A hand for player 2 and a hand for player 1. So I have it set up for a 2-player game. Over here we have 2 cards that are supporter cards that you need to win at the end of the round. One nice thing about this game that I didn't say earlier in the intro is that I love how the game is very compact. It's very small. They actually utilize the box really well in this game. And there's a lot of board game companies that don't do that. They'll have all this extra space in the box, or they don't have enough space in the box. Here, let's take a look at the manual really quick. The manual is a very simple manual. It just folds out just like that. It kind of goes on to introduction in the actual card's anatomy, setting up the game, the goal of the game, how to play, and then the end of game. So really simple, nothing crazy. It actually goes further details into actually each card and its powers. Take a look at some of the cards here. All these cards that are in the game are all followers. Now let's go into the card anatomy here. So what we have is we have the follower, the artwork for the follower. We have up here the point value for that follower. On the left side, we have the abilities. So every follower has an ability that you can actually trigger. And this up here is a special point value at the very top right that will allow you to basically evaluate ties. So if you ever have a tie at the end of the round as far as points for the skirmish, this value at the very top right will help kind of mitigate that. I love the artwork. I absolutely love the artwork. I like how all the followers here, they look like paintings. They all have different values from 1 to 12, and they all have different powers. So this particular person will allow you to draw a card. This one over here is keep for another round. So if you end up using the power of this particular follower during a round, this follower will come back in the following round out in the middle of your playfield. Swap with a supporter. When you activate the power of this follower, you can swap it with a supporter that's already on the left side. This one right here, claim 2 supporters for Cochrane. So Cochrane, you can claim 2 supporters, in which case at the end of the round, when you're claiming a supporter, because everyone who has followers in the game can actually claim a supporter at the end of the round. So this person's power actually allows you to claim 2. Then over here, we have discard another follower. So if there's a follower that's in play anywhere on someone's playing field, you can actually discard them. But here, copy another follower's power. Then right here, we have Bruce. Bruce is part of any clan. And this one right here is actually pretty cool. McGill, which is muster another follower. So artwork pretty good. It's very dark artwork though. Like the ink on here is not very bright. Sometimes it can be hard to see, especially on camera. So here's how you play the game. What happens is you have 2 options during your turn, okay? One is to either recruit somebody from the center here, which is in this recruit aisle, and add them to your hand, or you can muster a follower. Muster a follower means you put down a follower from your hand. So I have all of these here. So you put down a follower from your hand and you put them down in front of you, either face up or face down. Now, if you place a follower face down in front of you, no one's going to know what they are, obviously. Only you'll know who they are. You will not be able to use their powers at all. The only way is if you lay them down face up like this. Laying them down face up just like that is still not enough to use their powers, because you cannot have another follower out in play somewhere that has a lower value than the one you just played. If I were to play, let's say if I had this 3 out, right? That was already played, or somebody else had a 3 out, and then I put the 6 out with this one, which is swap with a supporter, I would not be able to use the power of that. If there's any card that's lower out in the field, you're not going to want to put them up face up. You're probably going to put them face down, because it wouldn't make sense, because face up, you're just going to reveal the card that they are, and you're not going to gain any kind of abilities from it. Every follower has a clan, as you can see, and I like how it's separated by colors. You know, this one's purple, this one's like a dark red, this one's a brown, this one's a blue, and this one's a green. So you can see they're separated all by different colors. And in this game, if you have a mix of colors, let's say if I had these 3 as a mix down here, I would only get the point values that the cards have on themselves. So this right here would be 9, 12, right? Because you have a card that's worth 6, 3, and then 3, and then that would be 12. If you end up matching every single follower in your pile with the color that they are, as far as their unit or their clan, then the points doubled. And let me show you what I mean. Let's say if I had this in my hand, I'm just gonna pretend I had this in my hand, it's this 12-pointer, and then I had this 3-pointer in my hand, right? If I had them both out like that, and then the round ended and they were both out, the 12 and the 3, together that's 15, but if your entire stack of followers in front of you is the same exact clan or unit, then the points actually double. So it would be 15 times 2, which is 30 points. These 2 cards would be worth 30 points at the end when evaluating and trying to go for a supporter. So the first thing you're going to do, so this is the initiator token. It says who goes first, basically. I'm going to stick it right here. And then I'm going to go ahead, and the first thing you do is during the round, each round has 5 phases. And these recruits here indicate which phase you're in. So I'm going to go ahead and flip this one up right here. So that's the first thing you do. Okay, I see claim 2 supporters now. Now what I could do is on my turn, I can either grab and recruit somebody, or I can lay down a follower, muster a follower. I'm gonna go ahead and pick this up. So whenever you pick it up, you're gonna recruit a card from the row, and then you have to immediately replace it from the draw pile at the state of that card. So if that card is face up, then when you pull from here, it has to be face up. If I would have pulled a different card that was face down, then when I go to the draw pile, I will pull it and replace it face down. And so now the other player knows that I have a purple. I'm done with that turn. Let's go over here for player 2. And what are they going to do? So what we have, oh, maybe they'll pull this one now because they already have one of the same types. So then they pull another card from here. There you go. So that's the end of the first phase. Now you flip the next any other card you want to flip over. So now this player is going to go, what they're going to do is they're going to go ahead and play their 12-pointer, which is purple, just like that, face up. I can use this power. And the reason why I can use this power activates, is because there are no other cards out that are lower than this card. So in order to kind of indicate that this power is enabled, I'm going to turn it just like that. So that tells me that I have flipped this over. Now, this is pretty lethal here, claim 2 supporters, because if this player ends up winning this round, they can take both of these supporters, because the supporters on the left are the number of players. So if there were 3 players in the game, there would be 3 supporters on the left. 4 players, there'd be 4 supporters left. 5, there'd be 5. But there's only 2 supporters here in a 2-player game. This player right here can capture both of these at the end of the round if they win. All right, so they put their hand down. So now this person's going to go. So what are they going to do now? You know what they're going to do? They're going to go ahead and place this one right here, which is swap with another follower, which is kind of nasty. So, and it's a 7. And because it's a 7, it's the lowest one on the board. That power activates. So guess what? Now they end up getting this claim 2 supporters, and then this person ends up getting this 7-point card, just like that. So now we go ahead to the next phase. We're gonna flip over another card, just like that. Here we go. Ooh, draw a card. What's this person gonna do? You know, maybe they'll go ahead and pick this up. It gets replaced by a face-up card, and they're done. Now this person over here is gonna go. They're not gonna tip their hand too much here, so they're gonna go ahead and lay down this one right here, which is another purple one for claim 2 supporters in the same type of clan. So they're gonna put this one face down though. That could be anything. No one knows what it is. Typically, most people know that you're gonna put down something that tries to match with another follower that already exists on the table, so you can get double the points, but that is not always the case, because sometimes the game can get really screwed up. You're swapping different followers and you know there's no way in hell that someone has a match. You end up just trying to put a big card down, even if it's from a different type. Okay, so now this player is gonna go. I think now we have to flip the next card, right? Yep. We'll go ahead and flip that. So I'm gonna pick this card up right here, which is swap with another follower. So I'm gonna hold on to that. Replace the card face up, because that's where it was pulled, and there's another one, 9, swap with another follower. Wow. This person over here is gonna go now, and what they're gonna do is, what are they gonna do? This is what, claim 2 supporters, and they already matched it right here, so they're doubled points right now. Maybe what they'll do is go ahead and recruit blindly from here into their hand. Okay, so now they have swap with another follower, which is worth 10. Okay, so they're done. Now we have to replace that card as a face down card. Now we get to the very last phase of this round. This gets flipped over, and so you can see how these actually indicate which phase you're in, because at the very end of this phase, the round is over and you're going to calculate the points of the different clanspeople. So this person right here, what they're going to do is they're going to lay down this swap with another follower. It is the lowest. It is only a 1 right there. It's only a 1. So this activates. So they're going to go ahead and swap it with a 12. See, that totally screwed up the combo there for the double points on the same unit. So this comes back over here. That goes over there. They are done. This player is done. This player over here is going to go now. So what can we do? So they only have a 4 and a 1 over here. So over here, there is 19 points. So this player is going to lay something down big if they can. And they have nothing to beat 19, because the highest they have is 12, but 5 plus 12 is only going to be 17. There is no way in hell they're going to beat that. And they can't play anything lower than a 1 there to activate a power, because they have swap with another follower. So they're kind of screwed, basically, that I can see right now. So what they might do here is prepare for the very next round. And that's the thing I like about this game. If you end up going to be losing anyway, you can actually prepare for the next round. So they're going to go ahead and grab this 11-pointer because it falls in line, you see? It falls in line with their other 2 cards. And then that's it. So this will flip over just like that. And then they're done. Now we're going to go ahead and reveal. Well, we have 19 right there. This is only 5 points. This person over here gets to claim 2 supporters. So the 2 supporters right over here, worth 6 and 9, are claimed for this player. They put them right down here as their point total. The hands all stay the same. These followers get discarded. They go into a discard pile, just like that. All of these get discarded. Bye-bye. All these followers go into a discard pile. I'm going to move this up a little bit just to show you kind of discard. Then what you do is you reveal 2 new supporters, because the supporters on the field are based on the number of players. Wow, a 1 and a 2. That is it. Wow, that is really, really crappy. And then you pull down the next 5 recruits for the next round. Now, the person that wins the round is supposed to have the initiator. Sometimes I'll play to alternate and say, okay, you know, somebody else can be first. But in the manual, it states that, I believe it states that whoever wins the round actually ends up getting the token and starts it off. And then the second round begins. You flip over a card. It can be any card. You flip over another card, and we start off with a 10 there. And then when these points right here for a particular player go over 40 points worth of supporters in their stack, that triggers game end. That will be the end of the game. Everyone evaluates their points, and then the person with the most points wins. Now, just because, let's say if this player was close to 40 and then they end up crossing 40 at the end of the game, does not mean that they win. Sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes this player may only need like 3 points to cross 40, and they get 3 points to get to 40, but then somebody else during that round ends up getting 12 points or whatever with the supporters over here, or maybe even more. Let's say there's 2 high supporters there, and they end up winning them both through like a special power or something. The other player could still win. They can snipe at the end by having way more points and supporters at the very last round. So just because you're the closest to 40 does not mean you'll always win the game. Awesome game. It's got suit matching with powers, with some light skirmishing. So I actually really like this game. And when you go beyond the 2 players, it actually becomes a little bit more hectic. But yeah, this is a great game. It's Lords of Scotland. It's a little hard to find now. I don't know if the production stopped on it or if they're just coming out the new version or whatever. So it's a little harder to find out there. But if you do find it out there, like a used copy or whatever in the game store, I highly recommend it. It's actually a fantastic game. And it's small and portable, which I love. Anyway, guys, I'm out of here, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.